Hey friends, welcome back to Mimi Homestyle. Today I'm sharing 5 simple grocery shopping tips that help me save money, stay organized, and make shopping stress-free. Now, I know a thing or two about this because I've been grocery shopping, meal planning, and budgeting for years. And like many of you, I've gone through times when I needed to stretch my grocery budget, cut back on unnecessary spending, and find the easiest way to plan meals without the stress. As seasons change in my life, I've had to adjust how I shop, how I plan my meals, and all of this has to make my cooking easier and my life easier so I have more time for the things that I enjoy. So everything I'm sharing today comes from real experience. It's how I grocery shop every 2 or 3 weeks, and I will also show you how my recipe binder, running grocery list, and meal planning system make shopping and cooking easier than ever. So let's jump in. So tip number 1, turn your recipes into a smart grocery list. I've learned that going to the store without a grocery list is the fastest way to overspend. And I used to walk into the store thinking I'd remember everything and I'd walk out with way more than I needed. Now, before I shop, I take a quick photo of my recipes, ingredients, and I am using ChatGPT or a grocery app to generate my shopping lists. It's like having an instant meal planner in my pocket. And once I have my list, I go through my pantry and I cross off the items I already have. That way, I'm not buying doubles of things like rice or flour or spices. One of the ways I keep grocery shopping simple and stress-free is by organizing my most used recipes in a binder. I keep each recipe in a sleeve protector, which keeps them neat, easy to flip through, and protected from spills when I'm cooking. At the start of each month, I go through my recipes and pick out the ones I want to use. To keep track, I add a sticky note to each page so I can easily find them again later. Next, I take out my monthly calendar. It's just a simple printable where I can write in the days, dates, and the month, and once I number everything, I go back to those marked recipe pages and take photos of them, especially the ingredients. These photos go right into my camera roll, and from there I use ChatGPT to make my grocery list even faster. I upload my recipe photos and ask ChatGPT to generate a grocery list based on the ingredients. But here's where it gets even better. I ask ChatGPT to organize the list by store sections and to create a PDF file that I can print at home. This way, my list is clear, organized, and easy to follow in the store. Of course, you can always write out your grocery list by hand straight from your binder, but I love this method because it's quick, easy, and gives me everything I need for my recipes in just minutes. Once I have my printed list, I go into my fridge and pantry and cross off any items I already have, so I'm not buying doubles. And as I do this, I also add to my list any staples that I've run out of. I'll show you how I do that in just a minute. Tip number 2, keep a running list throughout the week. Now, what about those little things we run out of? Instead of rushing around before shopping, trying to remember everything, I started using a simple system that makes it effortless. I keep a running list on my counter or my fridge, and every time I use up something like butter, I immediately write it down so I don't forget. And this way, my grocery list is already halfway done before I even start planning. I keep a notepad on my fridge with a pen nearby, and every time I use something up like flour, butter, or yogurt, I add it to my list. I start this right after my last grocery run, so by the time I'm ready to shop again, I already have a running list of essentials. When I print my ChatGPT generated grocery list with my recipe ingredients, I add this list to it so I don't forget anything. This ensures I get both the ingredients for my meals and the staples we use daily. If a notepad isn't your style, you could also use a small dry erase board or a notes app on your phone. Whatever works best, just having a system means I never walk into the store guessing. Tip number 3, use the pantry pairing method. I can't tell you how many times I used to buy something I already had in my pantry. So now before I even go to the store, I do something that saves me money every single time. I call it my pantry pairing method. Before I shop, I double check what I already have. I don't want to buy another bag of rice if I still have one. I look at my meal plan and see what fresh ingredients that I need. Before I even think about heading to the store, I always start with a pantry check. This step alone saves me time, money, and food waste. And first, I go through my pantry, fridge, and freezer, and I do a quick clean out. I check for expired items, reorganize shelves, and take stock of what I already have. This helps me see what's still good to use and prevents me from buying duplicates of items I forgot were tucked away. Then, before I finalize my meal plans for the month, I look at what I already have stocked. Instead of randomly picking meals, I choose recipes that use ingredients I already own. If I have a few cans of tomatoes, some frozen veggies, and a bag of rice, I'll plan meals that incorporate those. And this way, I'm using up what I have before it goes bad rather than constantly buying new ingredients. Once I've picked my recipes, I take my ChatGPT generated grocery list and I cross off anything I already have. There's no point in buying something that's already sitting in my pantry. And this step ensures I'm only shopping for what I truly need. A few extra tips that make this process even easier. I use clear storage bins in my pantry so that I can see what I have at a glance, and this prevents forgotten items from getting lost in the back and helps you quickly take stock of what's running low. I label leftovers and pantry items with a date that helps me track what needs to be used up first so nothing goes to waste. Organize your pantry and fridge by category. I keep sections for breakfast items, condiments, drinks, soups, pastas and sauces, baking staples, and more. This way, I always know where to look first when checking what I already have. I rotate items forward. When I bring home new groceries, I put older items in front so they get used first. This helps avoid finding expired items buried in the back. Then I make a quick pantry list of items that need to be used soon. If I notice I have something that's been sitting for a while, I make a note to include it in next week's meals. Doing a full pantry check before meal planning makes grocery shopping more intentional, less wasteful, and so much easier. Plus, I love knowing I'm making the most of what I already have. Tip number 4, buy small, stock smart. I used to think that buying in bulk was always a great deal, but I learned the hard way that sometimes it's just a waste of money. So now I stock up only on the essentials. I don't buy in bulk just because it's cheaper. I only stock up on high-use basics like flour, olive oil, and canned tomatoes. Things like bulk dairy or snacks, I skip those. Going to Costco and buying too many yogurts or a huge bunch of bananas when only one of us eats them isn't practical. And I love nuts in bulk and paper towel, toilet paper, pasta sauces, and canned chicken, as well as my unsweetened almond milk that has a long shelf life. And I'll even buy some frozen veggies. Those things are great to buy in bulk if you are even just 2 people in your household. When it comes to grocery shopping, I don't just buy in bulk because they say it's cheaper. I'm really intentional about what I stock up on, and I found that buying smarter, not bigger, works best for my home. For example, I only buy in bulk if it truly makes sense, things like almond milk or frozen veggies because they last a long time. But buying huge amounts of yogurt or bananas, that just wouldn't be practical for us because they spoil too quickly. I also think about how often we actually use certain staples. Baking items like flour, sugar, and baking powder last a long time in my pantry, so I don't feel the need to buy a huge supply all at once. A small bag of flour lasts me quite a while, so I'd rather buy fresh when I need it instead of storing a massive bulk-sized bag that could go stale. Now, if I know I'll be entertaining or hosting a gathering, that's when I might purchase food items in bulk. It makes sense if I'm cooking for a group, but for everyday meals, I stick to smaller, manageable quantities. A few things that help me stock smart: I buy only what I know will use within a reasonable time frame. If I don't go through it fast enough, I pass on bulk sizes. I store pantry staples in clear containers again, so I can see exactly how much I have left, no guessing and no overbuying. And I keep track of what's running low by doing a quick scan of my pantry before I shop. This way, I know exactly what I need without overbuying. Being intentional with how much I buy and what I stock up on has helped me avoid waste and keep my pantry manageable. And honestly, I love knowing that I'm only buying what we'll actually use. Tip number 5, plan shelf cooking days. And finally, one of my favorite tips, shelf cooking. This is a game changer for using up ingredients and saving money. One night a week, I do shelf cooking. I make dinner using only what's already in my fridge and pantry. There's no extra grocery trip needed. We cook up soup and make grilled cheese sandwiches. We make omelets and use up bacon and sausages. We love simple things at least once a week. I will ask ChatGPT for ideas by giving it what I have in my pantry and fridge and seeing what it comes up with for a meal using only those ingredients that I have. And at our age, it's okay to not create elaborate meals with long lists of ingredients. I love saving time and not having to cook so much anymore. I love shelf cooking days because they make dinner so easy. I don't have to plan much. I don't have to run to the store, and I just work with what I already have in my pantry and fridge. It's simple, it saves money, and honestly, some of my favorite meals have come from these kind of dinners. On nights like this, I'll usually ask ChatGPT to come up with a recipe using the ingredients I have on hand. And today, for instance, I looked around my kitchen and found ciabatta bread, some white cheddar cheese, butter, a couple of gala apples, and some honey mustard. And I ended up making the easiest panini sandwich on my George Foreman grill. And it was absolutely delicious. The bread got perfectly crispy, the cheese melted beautifully, and the apples added just the right amount of sweetness. I paired it with a can of soup from my pantry and a few chips, and that was dinner. Super simple, super satisfying. And by the way, have you ever used a George Foreman grill for a panini sandwich? I highly recommend it. It works like a charm. And just be careful when pressing the lid down. It can get pretty hot. I usually use a towel or oven mitt to gently press the sandwich flat, but today I didn't need one since I kept the heat at a medium setting instead of the highest. And the best part about shelf cooking is that it forces me to get creative and work with what I already have. I think we sometimes forget that we don't always have to follow a set recipe or go out and buy something extra just to make dinner. And some of the best meals come from just throwing together what you already have in your kitchen. A few quick tips that help me on shelf cooking days: keep a few versatile ingredients on hand like bread, cheese, soups. Try pairing fresh ingredients with pantry staples like I did today with my apples and ciabatta bread. And use your freezer if you have leftover meats, cooked veggies, or even bread. They freeze well and can be pulled out for quick meals later. So next time you're not in the mood to cook or make a big trip to the store, try a shelf cooking day. You might be surprised at what you can come up with using what's already in your kitchen. These 5 grocery shopping tips have saved me so much time, energy, and money over the years. By combining modern technology with tried and true methods I've used for years, grocery shopping has become easier, more efficient, and way less stressful. A few bonus tips. I keep a binder with all of our favorite recipes and a list I have of go-to meals instead of deciding what to cook every day. I rotate through a list of about 23 recipes that we love, and I make about 8 to 10 meals each month. These meals are planned strategically. Each one provides leftovers for the next day and a packed lunch for my husband. And here's how our meal plan works. I cook on Sundays and Tuesdays, and we eat leftovers on Mondays and Wednesdays. Thursdays are our shelf days where we use up pantry and fridge items. And Fridays are always fish night. Saturdays, we treat ourselves to takeout or we eat out. When I cook, I keep things as simple as possible by using shortcuts like frozen veggies and canned chicken. And the way I cook also makes a huge difference. I rely on crock pots, air fryers, and the grill to make my meals with minimal prep and ingredients. The recipes that are in my binder are all quick and easy and practical for our lifestyle. I hope that these tips help make your grocery shopping and meal planning easier too. And I'd love to hear your best grocery shopping tip in the comments. Let's share ideas and learn from each other. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you so much being here, and I'll see you next time on Mimi Homestyle. Hey friends, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you found some fun and budget-friendly ideas to bring into your home. A special shout out to all my subscribers. You guys are amazing. And if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and tap the notification bell so you never miss a video. I post weekly with more home decor, party planning, and DIY goodness. Also, check out my shop at Grin and Print on Etsy. I've got some fun games, printables, and party supplies that I know you'll love. Thanks again for all your support, and I'll see you in the next video.